In this Greg GNP video, it's a life hack. Hey, or is it? We look at this gimbal stabilizer I bought for my phone, we look at how much it costs, and then we compare it to this other thing, a UK 360 auto-tracking smart shooting phone holder face selfie stick vlog camera. And we also look at how much it cost. We combine the two and you will be pretty surprised, I'm sure, at what we discover. Before we get into any life hack, first things first, I've got to apologise for my appearance. You might notice a difference in my voice because I've had an awful head cold, some kind of flu. No, it wasn't coronavirus or COVID. I was tested twice. It's just a typical seasonal cold. I still have no taste. I've no smell, and I lost my sense of smell and taste 6 days ago. So hopefully it will come back soon. I'm on the right side of it. I'm slowly but surely getting better. So that's the reason why there were no videos here for a couple of weeks. Anyway, before we do this whole life hack thing, okay? This video comes with a twist. I don't think this has ever been done on YouTube before, but let me just show you before we do the life hack, okay? This is the action camera, the DJI Osmo action camera. And yes, it can record in 4K, pretty much like any of the GoPros. Although I like this one more because you've got a screen here, as well as, of course, a screen on the back. So it's wonderful, you know, if you're doing like selfies or something like that. It's a wonderful little camera. This one came from Cincinnati and over here to Northern Ireland. But this is the thing, guys, okay? Let me show you another camera. And even if you're not into cameras, you're not into videoing and stuff like that, this camera, this other one, it's a Samsung, is about 20 years old. And when it came out at the time, it was pretty, you know, high-tech technology. I mean, watch when it turns on. Watch the lens here. There we go. And when you turn it off, it retracts and there's a little shutter that comes over. So what I decided to do was put this camera up against the Osmo action camera. Now you might say, oh, come on. No contest. I mean, this thing does 4K. Yeah, but I'm not going to be videoing in 4K. I want a video maybe 48 to 50 frames per second at 2.7 or something like that. And I will put this up at its very best. I'm not entirely sure what its very best is, but I think it's pretty close. I mean, it's doing something like 10.80. Not sure of the shutter speed. Says here 720, whatever that means. I've got the wrong glasses on here. I need my reading glasses. But if that wasn't enough, guys, before I do the hack, okay, look at this. Some of you will know what this is. It's a really, really, really old, about 30 years old, video camera, or VCR camera. And if there's any millennials watching this, you might be thinking, no, it's not. That's something from Star Wars. It looks like some kind of weapon. A weapon. No, it's not. It's actually a camera. It's not from Star Wars, okay? We take the lens cover off. There we go. That's the lens. This is called the viewfinder, as far as I remember. So you actually had to look into this. And your hand went through this strap so you can control the camera. There's the red record button there. And this is the zoom in, out. So you would operate it like this. You see? Okay. An old video camera. I don't believe anybody's actually done this before on YouTube. But what I intend to do is mount the action camera on top. I'll find some way of attaching it. And video the same footage using both cameras. Okay? Just to see, just to compare and let everyone see here on YouTube how much we have advanced with camera technology and what it really looks like and what it's like today. And I'm going to do the same, of course. I'm going to put this 20-year-old camera in the gimbal along with the Osmo, and we'll do the same thing. So guys, this will be interesting. First of all, I know most of you have been waiting on the hack. Let's do the hack first. Let me show you what I did. And then we'll do some comparisons with new cameras and old cameras. Alright guys, let's begin with this. As you can see, this is the gimbal. I bought the gimbal stabilizer, the L08 for my phone, which is a Galaxy A21s. And that's all fine. And then we have this other device. And what we need to do is we need to release at the back of it here. There is a screw. There it is there, guys, as you can see. Just need to release the clamp. I'm going to call it a clamp because that's what we've got to separate here. And you will see that when we release the gimbal, there's the clamp, okay? But when we release the gimbal or unlock it a little bit here, there we go. Unlock it, there we go, relock it, because we had to swing it around that way. Why? Because this clamp has got to sit on top. You can use super glue for this because, let's face it, super glue loves plastic. But in this video, we're going to use electrical tape or an electrician's tape. Speeding up the footage here, because it does take a little bit of time to sort of negotiate the tape. Now, I know this does not look very good cosmetically, but then again, if you're making videos, people are not going to know what your, well, gimbal or what you're using looks like because you're shooting footage. So I personally prefer the electrical tape. It's strong, it's flexible. We just need to essentially get it to sit on top like this. You can slow down the footage on YouTube settings, playback settings. You know, go into settings, you can slow it down, you can see what's happening. But there's where we arrive. Now we've got these two white pieces of plastic from a certain food chain, let's say, global food chain. You might say, well, why are you taping up these bits of forks and knives with electrical tape? Well, look at them. They are white. We want this to look black. So it's for cosmetic reasons only. So let's do that. That's the first one. And tuck it in nice and it looks good. And here's the next one, of course. We'll tape this one up and we wind the tape around to make it look good. And here we go. The whole idea, of course, with these two things is that we put them on either side of the jaws of the clamp. You will see that here. It goes in there. Why? Because it decreases the distance between each of them. And so when you open the clamp, it gives a much tighter grip for your GoPro, or in my case, the DJI Osmo. There it is. Look, guys, you will see when I open this, there's less distance between both of them and a much, much tighter, there we go, yeah, much tighter grab or grip with your action camera or GoPro. So I get my phone here, I take it out. I don't like taking my phone out of the cover, but anyway, you've got to sometimes because it's got the Osmo app on it, and with, of course, you know, Bluetooth, the camera talks to the phone and you get a much better, bigger picture and, of course, more controls on the screen of your phone for the camera. So let's relock the gimbal. Just lock it at the back there. Okay. And we are ready. Almost ready. Yeah, there we go. Ready to put the action camera on top. And the wonderful thing about this is, and you know, you've got the grip, as you can see, the power is there to hold the camera. You know, if you want to do selfies, you just take the camera out and turn the lens the other way around, and you've got your, you know, your picture on your phone screen. But look at this, you know, you can extend it. There we go, extend it, and have it any way you want. We've even got, of course, the tripod. Maybe you don't want to go this far, but if you're not going to go this far and you want to buy a selfie stick, well, make sure you're very careful about that. The dimensions, yeah, of course a selfie stick is cheaper, but the dimensions, everything matches for the little thing I've put on top here, you know, for your action camera. But otherwise, great job. This really, really, really works so well. And I'm going to demonstrate that. You'll see this in the latter part of the video, but essentially, guys, this is the hack, okay? This is the hack. You've seen it. Job is a good one. So, there we have it. That's the hack. That's essentially it. As for this old device, or, well, it's still pretty new, you can buy these. They're probably okay for kids, if they're just playing around or messing around or whatever. It does work, but not very well in my opinion. It really doesn't matter if you're trying to video vertically or horizontally, in other words, portrait or landscape, if you're walking in the room and it's following you like this as you walk around, if you speed up and then suddenly stop walking, it goes past you. So if I was walking like this and it's following me and then I speed up, it starts doing this. It's looking for me, and then it suddenly, oh, found you. It's not very good. But rather than pass the problem on to someone else because it was no good to me, and I don't want to give away stuff that I don't think is very good. So I thought, after staring at it for a few hours one day, I thought I could do something with this, which we've done. It was a cheap lesson, but it went on to become a life hack. Now, what about this? The gimbal, okay, the stabilizer, the gimbal. Now, we've got it switched on, by the way. My phone, as you can see, is in the gimbal. And that's the intention of these things. They, they are supposed to stay like this, locked as you move. It's not a very good shock absorber. It still doesn't absorb. You still get a little bit of shake. It's not very good. Maybe good for selfies. But as you know, that's how these things work. Doesn't matter what way I go or what way I turn it, but if I turn it off, this thing should go crazy. So we turn off the gimbal. Let's see. Whoa, there we go. It's everywhere. It's all over the place. The only thing we can do at this point is lock it. Okay, just lock the gimbal. And it's not going to do any of those things, but it's locked. That doesn't matter, because cameras from really not that long ago that were on various gimbals and stabilizers with little springs and shock absorbers and so on, they relied on that kind of stuff. But now we've been able to physically put this kind of technology, this stuff, inside the camera, where software makes all the corrections. So you don't need a gimbal that moves like that. Just lock it. And with Greg's little invention, put your GoPro on top, or in my case, the DJI Osmo action camera, and it'll lock it. It'll hold it in place with the Bluetooth talking between the two devices. I've got the big screen. I've got the controls on this. It can be locked. It's fine at any length, even if it's tripod. But it works very well for me. And that's why I thought I would share it with you, because this might help someone somewhere. Anyway, with the hack over, this next part is something that I've not seen on YouTube before. Maybe you've seen it somewhere, and if you have, do leave your comments, any comments about this video down below. It's where we compare one of today's fancy cameras. Well, let's face it, a GoPro or a DJI Osmo isn't really all that fancy. They do what they are supposed to do. But what if we put them up against a camera that's 20 years old, that was pretty high tech back then, and then take it further by putting it up against a camera that's 30 years old? It's like two videos in one. This is a double whammy, guys. So, if you watch this for the hack, well, that's the hack over. But if you have watched this for not just the hack, just watch what happens. Have a look at this. Okay guys, we've got the Osmo here on top and the other camera. Let's see what they are like looking at the fireplace in here. So this is the really old camera. Let's take the cap off. So old, they used to take these here, the old VCR cassettes, or mini cassettes I suppose, and it would slot in like that, and then we push it in. The mechanism does the rest. There we go. And what we do is we select over here camera mode, not playback mode. I'm going to use the viewfinder for this one, and of course we've got to find a way to get the Osmo. We'll attach the Osmo on top like this. How are we going to do that? Because it's a rounded surface. Well, it's temporary. We'll use some electrical tape or electrician's tape, okay? So what you're about to see next is the exact same footage, but we'll be jumping between the Osmo, what the Osmo sees, and what this old camera, about 30 years old, what it sees. As we look at the fireplace here. Here we go. Okay guys, so we've kind of attached the Osmo to the top of the old VCR camera. There is a zoom on this, so there's a very different perspective of vision and view. This is much wider, but the point is quality. What is quality like? Well, let's do this and see what you think. There is a zoom on this, so there's a very different perspective of vision and view. This is much wider, but the point is quality. What is quality like? So that's what happens when you put the Osmo up against a 20-year-old camera and a 30-year-old camera. Amazing. And it makes me wonder, what will it be like in 20 or 30 years' time? What will the camera technology be like then? This is like 2 videos in one. But hey, while we're on the subject of cameras, let's do it. So I hope you enjoyed it. And please don't forget, hit the subscribe button and take care of yourself and each other. See you soon.